You are never going to transform your life by consuming more content. If you're watching this, hoping this is the next piece of information that finally just cracks the code, it's not going to. You probably right now have 5 tabs open, a podcast that you've halfway listened or finished, 3 different coaches in your inbox or in your email, a folder of like saved reels you have never gone back to, and you feel really busy. You feel like you're doing the thing, the work, but honestly, you have to be honest with yourself for a second. Are you closer to where you want to be? Or are you just more informed and somehow just more exhausted? If that hit something in you, stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you is the opposite of everything the algorithm wants you to believe. I used to think that the more information I got, the more I would know and the better everything would get. And it's not true. It's actually the opposite. I've watched this play out over and over again in my own life and in the people I've worked with. The moment someone decides they want real change in their body, their life, their business, their first instinct is to go looking for more voices, more content, more opinions. And it feels productive, but that sporadic, overstimulated, bouncing around way of consuming, it doesn't get you to your goals. It gets you informed. It does not get you transformed. Let's talk about the word mentor or guide, because I think we throw it around without really deeply knowing the meaning of it. If I ask you, like right now, do you have a mentor? What does that actually mean to you? Does it mean you have like 10 different people in your ear all telling you different versions of how to get where you're wanting to go? Because I've never once seen someone actually transform like that. I've never seen a person have more than one mentor at a time and go real deep. It's just too much. You end up standing in 10 shallow puddles instead of just one deep well. If you want lasting change, like a 9-month transformation that really transforms your body, your business, your life, your health, you have to pick one guide, one structure, one person who's either walked the road that you're, or similar, walk the road that you're on, or who's living the life that you actually want. And then you go all in. And what I mean is, like, you follow them, you listen to everything they're putting out, you take notes, you reach out to them, email them, and also you support them by subscribing, commenting, interacting, buy their book, join their community, whatever that looks like. When you devote yourself to one practice, one person's medicine and outlook that resonates most with you, you're not just consuming, you're honoring where you are. You're respecting the person sharing that medicine with you. And that respect, that devotion, it comes back to you. That's when you get peace instead of scattered, lonely, overstimulated information that most of us are living in this world. Majority of the world is living in that state at this moment. All of this short form content, or not truly committing to one endeavor, it's making you skim the surface. When you're bouncing from mentor to mentor or content to content, you're never actually investing, not your time, your money, your trust. And if you're not investing, how do you expect to walk your organic soul's path? It's still synthetic, it's shallow, synthetic, and you're just skimming the surface. The wellness world will have you thinking you can follow a plan for 3 months and come out the other side full of love and light and then happily ever after. And just like the person you're watching. But when you're looking at someone's blossom, who's healthy, confident, full of self-trust and love and energy and health, you're not seeing years. You're seeing sometimes decades of them sitting in the dark. You're seeing the aftermath. You're seeing the fruit, not the root, and not the work. That's what shallow content consumption does. It shows you the highlight reel and it convinces you it's the formula, it's easy, and you should have it within 3 to 6 months. And then you feel bad if you don't. Being from the South, we have so many pine trees, and I like to use this analogy. So I want to give you an image to hold on to right here. Think about a pine tree versus an oak tree. Both are so beautiful, of course, but when a hurricane comes through, you don't see as many pine trees falling nearly as often as you see the oak trees go down. And that's because the pine roots go super deep and it becomes almost indestructible. The oak tree spreads its roots out wide and shallow, and the shallow roots fall over easier when the storm hits. You want to be like the evergreen, the pine, not scattered, wide, shallow. You want to be rooted deep into that one thing. And that's when you start to branch out after. But the root, the shadow work, the root, and the foundation of who you are or who you want to be, that's most important right now. And that takes focus. Your focus, your attention is truly one of the most valuable things at this time in the world. With all the stuff we have going on and all the content we're always consuming or it's in our face, your focus is like gold right now. In a world that's built to fragment your attention, your soul, where you place your awareness is where your roots will grow. They will go. And a lot of people come to me like, well, I'm not confident. I don't trust myself. Confidence, self-trust, it all comes with more reps. You're not going to feel confident just from deciding to commit. Confidence comes from taking action. It comes from doing the reps. It comes from sitting in the dark a little longer than what feels comfortable before you ever see the results. And people do spend years in the dark, but there are points in that darkness that you learn and grow. You're exposed to your shadows, to your darkness. You're aware of it. You start doing the work and taking action, and then you embody it. And then something else happens in life, and it makes you reevaluate everything you've just been through. And you're like, oh my gosh, not this again. But that is life. And the less we resist it, the more we open up to it, the quicker things happen. And there's more ease and flow in it. And I'm not saying it's easier. It's just you're more aware of the actual structure and plan of the things that life hands to us. And you know how I speak about it in a spiral. It's never linear. Carl Jung talked about this stage as the nigredo, which is the blackening, the dissolving. The part of the process where alchemists would describe this, where the old material breaks down before it can become something new. It's dark, it's disorienting. And almost every tradition of transformation, psychological, spiritual, physical, has some version of this stage because you cannot skip it. And like I said, this is not linear. This is a spiral. You could picture a seashell. I like to do that. The way it curves back around on itself, but never lands in the exact same place twice. That's what the stages of life actually look like. You don't go through Nigredo once and you're done forever. You spiral back through it, but each time, if you've been doing the work, you go a little deeper into your own roots. And sometimes the more that you practice and sit with the dark, the quicker you're able to move through it. And the goal isn't to avoid Nigredo. The goal is to learn to be in it, rooted, devoted, focused, instead of running from it into the next piece of content, the next mentor, the next distraction. Deep down, we want to feel connected, to feel like we belong to a community, like we're supported. And a lot of us stay stuck because most of the people around us are complacent. They're okay with settling. There's nothing wrong with that for them. But if you're someone who feels called to build something, to birth an idea, to dream bigger than what's comfortable, you're working against something very ancient. We evolved to fit in with the group. back in tribal times, if you went against the grain, if you stirred the pot, if you thought outside the box, you could have been outcasted. And getting outcasted meant that you didn't survive or you would be alone and your survival rate would drop significantly. We have learned to shrink. It's not weakness, it's just the way we're wired. And that's exactly why this matters. Why you can't just white knuckle this alone, and why you also can't do it surrounded by 10 conflicting voices. You need a community that actually thinks outside the box with you, and you need to dedicate real time to yourself and to one guide, one mentor, someone who can help you change your identity, live in your purpose, feel confident again, learn to trust yourself, and take care of your body, mind, and spirit while you're doing it. Just observing things in my own life and with people I've worked with or cared for, this is the whole reason surface level content will never get you there. It was never built for depth. It was just built to scale on to the next, on to the next. Keep you fragmented. I'm saying all of this to you, my viewer, my subscriber, my friend, and honestly, to my younger self too. The world needs more people who are rooted into who they truly are, devoted to one path long enough to actually transform it, to stop skimming the surface. Pick your one thing and go deep. Let your roots do what shallow roots never could. All right, thank you for joining me this week. It's such a pleasure. Comment below any topics that you would like me to cover specifically, like where you're at right now in life and what you need help with. I would love to provide my wisdom and help, guide you through that process. But thank you for joining. Please subscribe and share this. Help us build this community because we need more people rooted